Hey,
Hey, we are back with another episode. We are bringing you another bomb interview with another bomb competitor. I met her at CCTS, Sean's Couture Cuties Conquering the Stage, and she is a ball of light. I cannot wait for this interview to get started. This young lady is Miss Jennifer Lynch, IFBB Pro, among other things. How are you doing, girlfriend?
hi, babes.
Hey.
We are thriving. We are good. I'm like this ball of light while I've got this like halo chandelier over my head.
Hey,
No
you know what?
pressure.
Yes.
Is perfect.
No, I'm
We are
excited to
Yes.
be here with
so
you.
excited.
We are
I'm sorry.
excited to have you.
We're excited to have you.
Thank you. Yeah, you nailed it. You're like, oh yeah, BB Pro, amongst many other things. I'm like, yeah, what hat are we wearing today?
Ooh,
Hey, let's wear them all. Let's switch them on and off, all right?
well, that's
We
the
want to know
best
all
part.
the things.
Yeah, that's the best part. We're here. We're gonna learn all the things about you. So you're gonna share those hats. You're gonna flip them on, off. Let us know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm here with you guys, so I'll follow your lead.
All right. Well, before
Awesome.
we actually get started and dive into you, we gotta chat a little bit about this little nephew of yours.
Oh,
OMG. The cutest of all, but also like the most MJ fan ever. Cutest MJ fan ever.
Child, I had him in the car I went to go support one of my sisters who teaches dance, and it was also an NPC bikini competitor.
okay,
He
sis.
had a competition out in Maryland, which is where it was like 45 minutes from my house. So I had him in the car ride back for 45 minutes. Oh, we listened to MJ the entire ride. I was like, Kenny, can I just put on just a couple songs that I want? No, play Smooth Criminal.
Yes,
Is
that's
is
it
that
right
his
there.
favorite one? Because I believe that's the one he had a little performance to, right?
A little performance, honey. He now has a costume to go with his performance. He demanded that his
Yes,
mother order him a fedora hat, some aviator, like cop looking shades, right? MJ shades, and a silver sequins glove. Like,
yes, I'm here for that.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Love that. Just in general, in terms of him, how has it been? Because I understand that you and your sister both compete, and you and your sister both are, part of dance. Like, how has it been with him watching like both of you? What are some of the things that he pick up, or some of the things that you notice about him with your journeys?
Well, he's got a good back pose. Um, they stayed over last night actually, and so my check-ins this morning, Auntie put on her bikini and her heels and hit her back pose, and then there's his mommy, being a clown in the background in her full sweat outfit, trying to hit some poses with me in my check-in video. And she's like, come on, Cannon, back pose. And he was like, "Nah, I'm good." Went back and finished his pancakes, but he's a performer. I mean, he is absolutely a hand. He is his mother times 10. He has a heart of gold, which I think comes from Auntie's side. But he's taking it all in. He loves the attention that he gets from the ladies at the studio. Obviously in the gym when he can like rough around with some of the coaches and the other guys there, like he thrives off of that. So he doesn't know any different.
Mhm. I mean, we're gonna be surprised. I can't wait to see what unfolds for him and watching both of your journey. I mean, the dancing aspect already is a part of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. But we couldn't get him to dance this year. He wanted just to focus on sports. And so, we grew up with more so our mom. She was very, if you're going to do one thing, you're going to do it 100%, and that's going to be it. So, like, there wasn't a lot of wiggle room to try out a whole bunch of stuff. Not at least not for me. I was the baby. Oldest sister, she stayed a course. I stayed a course. Middle sister, the one who competes more whichever way the wind blew. Um, but she's very much letting him kind of explore what that looks like for him too. So he does tackle football now. He plays basketball. He did baseball last season. I don't think he's done soccer. He did do soccer for like a hot second. But yeah, he does what he wants when he wants, and we support it.
Okay, I love it. I love it. He's so cute. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I had to start with him. And I hope he gets to look back and hear all the super sweet things that you said about him and shared about him. Yeah. So let's dive in about you.
That was me dying.
Yeah. So
let's get it.
Yeah, let's go. Let's start where you just ended, because you spoke a little bit about, your sibling and your mom and your upbringing. So, I mean, let's hear about that and how it transitioned into this major journey that you're on, Miss IFBB Pro.
Yeah, I mean, so I come from a interracial household. My dad is Caucasian and my mom is African American, and born and raised in Northern Virginia, a very diverse area.
Let me just say that I was looking at your pictures online, and I couldn't tell whether you look more like your dad or your mom. It was very uncanny. Like, all you guys look alike. Couldn't tell who more than who.
Yeah.
But you all look just like each other.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Well, I think I have my dad's profile. But then people who, like my mom and her sorority sisters, when they see me, they say that I'm a spitting image of her. And I'm like, whatever, But yeah, so born and raised in Northern Virginia, interracial household, all girls. There were 3 girls growing up. How my dad survived and didn't kill any of the wild men that we decided to date along the way, I don't know. But we didn't have that structure of, women do this in the household, men do that. So it's just, everything has always been very all-inclusive in the way that I've been brought up. I do come from a classically trained in ballet background. Was a dancer, always was a dancer. Like I said, mom was just, you're going to give 110% to whatever you do. And if you do that, I'll meet you halfway and do my 110%, right? To help you succeed in whatever it is that we choose to do. So yeah, always danced, always loved performing. Did retail management for 10 years of my life. So there was always like this love for fashion that I had throughout this midst of like wanting to be on stage and perform and arts and all that jazz. And after 10, going into my 11th year of real estate or in retail management, I always had this like niche for like houses, and I wanted to know who lived behind big gates and, what's their story, My dad was also a real estate appraiser growing up, so I was stuck in the car with him a lot of the times while he was appraising properties, and I was holding the map and helping him measure and this, that, and the third. So real estate was kind of always in the background of life too. So got my real estate license in 2015. We as in my team, there's 7 or 8 of us. We serve DC, Maryland, and Virginia. And then got, for lack of better words, really fat. In COVID times, social happy hours, virtual happy hours became a thing more than they should have been, and completely forgot about my dance background and what I knew what healthy looked like and should feel like, and just let myself slip off in the rails. And that was a wake-up call, and acquired my coach at that point and just wanted to get healthy. And then other things happened and we reached a weight goal and I felt great. And he was like, okay, now what? I said, no, what you mean now what? We're good. I'm thriving in my size 8, and he was like, let me talk to you about competing. And I was like, get out of my face. I told you on day 1 when we met that I was not putting on a bikini like my sister did. I ain't putting on them sparkly heels. Like, I'm not here for any of that. And then 2 weeks later, I hit him up and I was like, so tell me more. And we just, again, mama raised a girl to do it 110%. So he said, go, I went, and we've been full force since. So April of 2020 was when I started my weight loss journey. Started off at 210 pounds. I come in up between like 5'8" and 5'9". So 210, it distributed well for me, but I didn't feel well. And so then by January 2021, I was down to 175, 180. And then that's when we started, pushing for a stage. And so April 2021, right? June 2020. Yeah. So it was June I started with him at 210. January I was 175 and committed to a show. April 2021, I weighed in at 145 for my first Stephanie Wellness performance.
Oh my goodness.
So how did you guys decide?
I'll just keep talking.
How did you guys decide on wellness?
Oh Lord. From dance, naturally my thighs developed easier and quicker than anything else on my body. So not knowing anything about the sport, and my sweet, amazing coach, Jared, he didn't have that many competitors, and it was just like, okay, yeah, let's try wellness. So he pushed me to Sean. I knew nothing about Sean's Couture Cuties, knew nothing about the cutie community. Had just missed CCTS because I signed up to start working with her like February 1st, and she had just finished that year's shindig in January. And yeah, she was like, okay, yeah, I could see you. We'll start putting you some poses. I could see you doing wellness. And yeah, and then I got on stage for wellness and I looked like a twig. So we were like, all right, let's see what they say when you do bikini.
I mean, I was at your first show, and I have to say, you definitely worked that stage. You did.
It's
so that big fluffy hair and everything.
Oh my God, that rat's nest.
I'm a little jealous because I feel like I have not seen these photos yet, or this. Well, I did not know you did wellness.
Me either. I wouldn't even guess that.
Exactly. I'm like, it's almost embarrassing to say, but like, look, we live and we learn, right?
Yeah, but it's getting both of those like experience though, and having, to make that choice and understand why you made that choice of what division, you should be in. So that's kind of cool to me.
Well, and I was so new, and I still am so new to everything. I was so new to everything then. So it was like, okay, you got feedback trying wellness. Go get feedback trying bikini. Like, you don't know where you're going to go. You don't know what this is going to be. So, we did it. So that was April. And then September was the first bikini show that I did out in Baltimore. Baltimore Classic, I think was the name of it. And did well, won my class, didn't win the overall, but won my class. And I felt just so much more comfortable in like that style of presentation. So then a fellow coach from the DMV area, we're all kicking at the bar afterwards, and a fellow coach in the DMV area, he said something. He was like, Ben Weeder's coming up, they've got this pro opportunity, what I'm saying? Like, I saw you on stage, and like, he's just such like he just likes to rap. He was, I'm just saying, just go for it, and I was like, I'm gonna talk to my coach and we're gonna decide. And then 2 days later, I talked to the coach and we just go for it. No expectations, like whatever. The show is in like 3 or 4 weeks. We'll just keep doing what we're doing, apply the feedback that you got from the last one, go back, keep working with Sean, and just do another competition before the year is over and have fun, and that's what I did.
I think that's excellent, honestly, because some people, not naming names, but I'm looking at myself, we go into these things with that kind of that athleticism or that competitive spirit. And yes, as a beginner, you shouldn't necessarily try to want to win. We all want to win, right? Of course. But going into it, like, I'm going to go in my first show and I'm going to kill it, blah, 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 is tough, to actually pull off when you don't know a whole lot. So for you to go into it and like, yeah, let's try it. Let's do whatever. Let's see what happens. I think that's amazing. That's something that I tell my clients and anybody who asks me to speak to them about bodybuilding is like, Your first show is about getting feedback to see where you need to go. Like, go into the show with the mindset of getting feedback, and then we'll look at where to be competitive from there. So I think that's really, really excellent. If y'all don't mind, I have a couple of questions where I want to circle back before we go forward. You mentioned your dance career, your dance history, and you talked about the COVID versus knowing where you came from nutritionally and things of that nature. I don't know a whole lot about ballet, but in my mind, from what I know, just on TV and whatnot, it was in my mind it's similar to like modeling, where they kind of push like being super small and things of that nature. So, what kind of nutritional background did you grow up with, since you did grow up in dance? And how had that translated over the years up until you did start getting into bodybuilding?
Yeah, it's interesting you ask about that, the nutritional background. I was never the ballet body. Um, I was a little butterball since I was a baby. My sisters called me Thunder Thighs, and Baby Beluga is something that they like to like. They were, I mean, sisters, right? They're gonna do what they do. But I was a little chunky monkey. But I had natural abilities outside of what I physically looked like. So there was always a little bit of a struggle, especially mentally, because in dance, you walk into an audition and at hello, you're being judged. It's just like the competitions that we do now. The second you step on stage, the second you put your bags down backstage with the other competitors, you're already being sized up to some degree, right? So it's constant feeling of being judged right away. But because my mom and dad supported my love for dance the way that they did, they acquired a nutritionist for me when I was growing up. And it was documenting my food, writing everything down. I had a trainer who, it's interesting going back full circle now, she was a bodybuilder back in her heyday. But I danced with one of her daughters. And so she, she had me on 2-a-day workouts when I went away to dance at college. And, it was never enough. I was never small enough. I was never, I never really fit the realm of what the ballet world wanted. In today's environment, it's completely different. I mean, there is a company and a form of dance for every shape, color, height, I mean, everything. But I am 38 years old. And so back when I was growing up, we didn't have that same kind of opportunity that's being, kind of gifted to the beautiful dancers in today's world. So anyway, I say all that to say, I knew that I should not be eating and drinking certain things past certain hours and in certain increments. I knew that eating and drinking certain things and not doing physical activity were a recipe for the scale to only go one way, right? And for my clothes to feel a certain way. But I'd had enough of not feeling like myself at that point. I was, in 2020? We're in 2023 now, so at 35. I just woke up and I was like, this is not me. This is not my life. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. It's not how I'm supposed to be living or feeling. So I just snapped out of it, and hired my sister's coach down in Richmond, and just wanted to look good at my clothes, and now we're wearing jeans.
That's very, very, very interesting. I mean, you were super structured from such a young age. Part of me is like, man, I wish that was me. But then the next part of me is like, wow, like how did that really affect you mentally and emotionally at such a young age to be on such a regiment?
Sure. I mean, and even now, full transparency, I struggle, when I look in the mirror for check-ins, my eye goes to, I think there are two different people in the world. They're the type of people who can see themselves on like such a high pedestal and in to beautiful light all the time. And well, there's three types of people, I guess. And then the people on the extreme opposite of that who can only see the bad, right? Their eye goes to their worst, what they think are their worst features, or their shortcomings. And then there's some who are like, pretty well balanced in the middle there. I'm trying to get to that balance. I'm getting there. But I can tell you what's wrong with me before I can tell you what's great about me. And I think a lot of that does stem from the dance and the criticism and that background. So, I look in the mirror now and I just look at my stomach and I'm like, there she is. But then I know other people will look at me and they're like, oh my gosh, but your legs. I'm like, but look at my stomach. Nothing is ever enough for us, right?
You're giving the scene out of White Chicks when she was in the dressing room and the girl was like, no, it's okay. And she's like going in on herself. But did you figure out how to start transitioning to the middle of the spectrum on your own? Did your coach help? Did your sister help? Like, how did you get there?
I think it has just been the 35 years of living that led up to when the light bulb turned on. It's just like every little rock that was going into, my bucket, if you will, was all making sense. Like it was all coming together. I do a lot of just mindset type of daily activity, right? We control, at the end of the day, we are in full control of every positive, negative, neutral, whatever thought you're having. Things don't happen to us. I'm not a victim mentality kind of person. I don't regret much in life. I think that there's a bigger reason, and the universe serves us in different ways that we will never understand why we are where we are or why something did happen at a certain point in our life. But I think it's important to always learn and grow and just don't repeat, history. I don't know if that answers the question.
No, you did. That was excellent, actually. No, that was really good. Okay. So you went from ballet to retail to real estate, right? And then to bodybuilding. Mm-hmm. So here at the Real Raw Real, our aim is to really kind of dive into how those two worlds, mesh together. What is that competition work-life balance, if you will, that competition life balance for you? So when it comes to real estate or even dance, if that's still something that you do at some point, how did bodybuilding or getting into bodybuilding, how did that either impact what you're doing now, or how did it influence anything that you're doing right now?
It's 100% it's sister. They go hand in hand. I think where a lot of people, and there's two sides to this I guess I want to touch on. First and foremost, bodybuilding should help and benefit and reward you. It should add to your life, right? It should not be something that takes away from or, ruins every relationship in your life, right? There are going to be some people who can't ride the roller coaster with you, and that's fine. They're not wrong, but neither are we, right? It's an opportunity to kind of pull back the covers for a second and see what really is around you. Scrolled out for a second. Oh, but as far as the structure of the two going hand in hand, a lot of people get into real estate and they're like, oh, I want to be my own boss. I want to work the hours I want to work. Well, yeah, you get to do that, but you still got to work, my day starts between I'm up in prep. I'm up at 4:45 or 5 a.m. Out of prep, I get to sleep until 6 to 6:30. And it's just the way that the structure that I've fallen into, but I have to get up and I have the opportunity to get up and do what I need to do and what I want to do to be successful in bodybuilding, so that then when the rest of the world wakes up, 8, 9, 10, I'm available to be who I need to be for those people, right? And for that hat that I have to put on, or that I get to put on. And then I power down every day at a certain time. And that's to regenerate myself, right? Like I can't be my best self if I'm just out here like dragging by the wayside and, can't figure out which way is up, down, right, left, any of that. So it's the structure and discipline that comes in being a competitive bodybuilder completely supports the structure and discipline that's needed to be a successful business owner or a successful mother. I look at my sister and, a lot of the fellow cuties, Miss Yolanda, I watch them. I don't know how she does it, chasing that little handsome man around. Talk about your baby, not your husband. I'm here for the babies. Stop it. But it's, you wake up and realize, okay, well, if I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, I need to do A, B, and C, or else something's not going to work, right? So my favorite thing in my life, though, is my, I don't know if this is the visual for the world, but my calendar.
Put it closer for everybody to really see.
I know. Look at all the highlights and everything. That's like super. I'm trying to get on your level, girlfriend.
It's the visual though. Like everything is super color coordinated. Like I schedule red are my days off. Like I schedule my days off at the top of the year. So I know when I can be accessible. I know how many hours I have to work every day. All this stuff. Pink are my bodybuilding highlights. So everything's color coordinated. But I keep a very tight. I thrive in structure. So this bodybuilding world definitely supports that.
So were you like that already as far as like being organized and planning with the color coding and all of that? Did real estate get you there or did the mesh between the two get you there?
It's escalated since I've gotten into bodybuilding. I always loved a calendar and a schedule. Like I like structure. I like knowing where I need to be, what I'm going to do. If I go into a situation like just completely like, oh, I don't know, we'll see what happens. I feel like I can't breathe to an extent. So that's like the balance that I'm trying to find. Trying to find.
Talking about me, Jen.
And me. Let me cover my face real quick.
No, I envy that. I mean, my middle sister, the other one who competes, Neo, she is, I joke and make fun of her all the time about her just being so like, oh, look, big deal. But I think a part of me is secretly jealous that she has that ability to just go with it,
Fair enough.
She probably does it well. On my side, I've been trying a mixture of both, but I'll be the one to miss what I wrote on the calendar.
Also,
I put it on there, but it just didn't work out.
I like to do it on my phone, so it sends me reminders.
Oh, girl, I have it on all of them. I'll still miss the day. I set the reminders for the day before, a half an hour before, and 10 minutes before.
Listen.
It'd be like that.
You will find what works for you,
That's
definitely.
But that's one of the things, if I can segue my own segue, like, just finding what fits you, right? Like, that's one of the things that I'm so appreciative of. I don't know when this epiphany happened in life, but I don't look at people's Instagrams or Facebook or, whatever good posts they wanted to, share that day because the gym light was hitting and, they figured out how to do that post-pump glute post-pump pic that I can't save my life. I'm like, it's what it is. Like, I'll go on stage and you'll see the shape then, but I can't give you anything, no sneak peeks that are going to be worthy of anything on social media. But I never fell victim to like being envious of what somebody else had, because guess what? We all have our, am I allowed to, can I? Okay. We all have our own shit. Like, no one's shit doesn't stink, We all put on our pants the same way, maybe somebody does it quicker than the other, Maybe somebody forgot how not to break a nail, zipping up their zipper while the other one is still breaking nails. But like at the end of the day, we all do the same things, and we're all like, people are just so funny to me. People are just such an interesting thing. So
100% agree.
So one of my best girlfriends, she does this all the time. Now I'm just scrolling out, y'all. One of my best girlfriends, she does all the time. She sees people in relationships. She's like, oh my God, they're this, they're that, they're this, they're that. And I'm like,
that's not real.
What life looks like at home. Like, you don't have a clue. You see they're serving you right here. You have no idea what they're internally battling. Like, stop it.
Girl, and you literally just nailed why we wanted to start this podcast. Because we just, we see Instagram and, we see our competitors either in the gym or on stage or what have you, and we have no earthly idea what these people go through behind the scenes, but we're trying to figure it out. That's why we're talking to you.
Yeah, it's like everyone has their own little struggles, whether big, small, everyone has something, and their road to however they get there is not 100% perfect.
I mean, I wake up, when people are like, oh my gosh, you're a pro. I'm like, yeah. But it's just because I did what I'm supposed to do. Like I just followed the plan, and I did work. And there's a part of me that's like, was I lucky that day? Like, was that my day? Yes, that was my day. Yay! But now, guess what? Now we got to do more. Like it's never over. And I finally started removing the word when people ask, oh my gosh, how'd you win your pro card? I'm like, oh, I just won it in Masters. That word just. Oh, it was just Masters. Like I didn't win the overall. Lana got the overall. I was just Masters. And I realized what that was doing to my mindset. Like I was already taking away, like I was breaking myself down. Yeah.
Hard work you put it.
Right. And it's like, oh, that's right. I did work. Yeah. Okay, cool. I was rewarded for the work that day. Awesome. Let's hope it happens again another day. I can be rewarded in other ways, And that's, in bodybuilding and real estate, with my family, with my friends, like, it's those little wins, just find those wins and celebrate them and be good with it.
Yes, all the gyms right now. All this wisdom that we're getting. I love it.
Hey, we colored my wisdom hairs recently, so glad that the wisdom is still there to be shed on you all.
I'm done. So real quick, before we stray away from your balance in career and everyday life and bodybuilding, I definitely wanted to touch on the fact that you've managed to kind of, from the outside looking in, I feel like Easton Ivy has been so on board and supportive in your journey. And that's just something I wanted you to share with everyone. How did it come about? Like, I mean, anything about it, just share that with everyone in regards to how Easton Ivy has became like this with your bodybuilding journey.
Yeah. We all started sloppy together. So it's interesting. When I started my let's get healthy, let's look good in our clothes again, let's feel good in our clothes again journey, that spawned the entire team having like a wake-up call of, wow, none of us are really living our best healthy lives right now, right? So we ended up doing like a fitness challenge with our clients too. And this whole like Facebook moment with it. And for 2 years in a row, we did that actually. And it wasn't about, becoming a bodybuilder. It was just the requirement to be a part of our plan was, be active in the Facebook group that we had and just log your exercise every day, whatever that looked like, just log it. We had like, a little sheet that we used. And it ended up, I'm like squirreling all over the place, but it ended up really kind of, for lack of a better word, saving people's lives. We had a couple clients that were really, going through COVID and everything. They were in a really dark place. and just having each other to talk to and just getting active again, bodies in motion, stay in motion. That was a huge, huge win. So even if I never, became a bodybuilder or got on a stage or got a pro card or anything like that, knowing that my choice to get healthy impacted not just my team, but our clients, that was huge. And like, I'm not going to get emotional about it now anymore, 3 years later, but like for the first
get emotional.
First 2 years, every time we had one of these challenges and people come back like, you have no idea what you did for me and this and the third, you just posting your workouts every day. I knew that I wasn't going to do that, but just seeing it made me want to go and da-da-da. And I'm just like, oh my God, our lives, we don't think about what we're doing. I don't, at least. I guess I'm so selfish and like, I have my horse blinders up all the time that I don't realize sometimes what movement I'm choosing to make, how it's going to weigh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's been great. I mean, the team, everybody is, continuing to work on living their best and healthy lives. We make bad choices, but we make them together, and then, we suffer the consequences, and then we get back on board and do what we got to do. But it's really been great. I've been with my originator of the team, from day one. She got her real estate license like a month after I did. And from Jump Street, the story she tells, I walked into a sales meeting late. I had this beautiful duster on and I twirled it off, sat it on the back of the chair, opened up my pink laptop. And right away she was like, she's going to be my best friend. We're going to start a team together. And I was like, whatever. And then here we are 8 years later, still in business together. And yeah, but
that's amazing.
That sounds like the energies match so well.
Right.
You know what?
I said that sounds like the energies matched so well. Even in the story. Like,
we're big on culture. Like, that's a big thing within our team. We look at it as we bring people into our business and into our ecosphere, our ecosystem, if you will. If you can't travel with the people you work with in what we do, they're not the right culture fit, because we do take a lot of, weekends away and conventions and, seminars and things like that. So we don't want to bring anybody into our world that is going to disrupt things in a negative way. We like positive disruption.
Yeah. That's amazing. I love that. But I mean, your energy is hard to just repel anyway. Like, I think I knew you on Instagram before I ever met you in person at CCTS. And even with that, like my whole competition journey last year, you were just always cheering me on and rooting for me and, making me laugh and stuff like that. And like, your energy is just infectious in a good way. And I could see why she would say something like that. That's amazing.
Thank you. I mean, and that's, it's authenticity is everything, right? Like, I went through a little bit of a period last year, I think it was, where I was like, oh God, I think now that I'm pro, I'm supposed to, talk to this person and do this and do that and do this and do that, because again, you never know who you're influencing and how you're influenced. But I was like, whoa, you're tired. Like, stop it. I am, as much as I give, I reset by being alone, right? Like, quiet space is energizing for me. Yeah. Right. So I had to find how I could keep being authentic to myself, but still pouring into people in a way that I hope that they would want or need. The whole thing of like a smile being contagious. Like, you never know who needs a smile one day. You never know who needs to be told that their shoes are fly. Like, it's just that, and that's authentic to me. Like, I will sprinkle my little loving, love dust on people in a way that feels good for me. And if they vibe with it, cool. If not, cool. They're not wrong. I'm not wrong. Everything's fine.
I love that. I think I need to put that on my board. They're not wrong. I'm not wrong. This is what it is. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's dope. Okay. And thank you for sprinkling all your dust on me.
Yes.
I need like a dust making machine though.
Say that again.
I said I need a dust making machine this year though, because I feel like everybody and their mama's getting ready for a show, but me right now. So I'm like,
oh no, I'm with you. I don't even know what I'm doing. It's all good. I'm with you. But save some for me though.
yes, there's always love dust for my babies right here.
Oh, we appreciate you.
Though, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just hope that people never take it, personal if, they're not getting long, drawn out coaching moment and, powerful conversations with me. Like, no, like I give so much to my clients. I give so much to my family, and like those relationships take work and they can be draining sometimes, right? So I have to protect my energy, right? We all have to protect our energy. And I believe that you should only give what feels good to give.
That's a word. That's a word. Writing that one down too.
Why did you make me feel like I really have some good things to share?
It's gonna be right there on her vision board. I love it.
You guys interviewed Sean when you guys went live, preparing for your podcast. One of the things that she said, and we hear it all the time, when people talk about relationships specifically, it's, you can't be everything to everyone, but you can be something to someone. So I just, I think it's important we find that thing we can be for a one,
Right. No, that's special. Very special. Okay, so let's pivot a little bit and let's get real. We talked about people seeing what's on the outside, people seeing the highlight reels on Instagram and not really knowing the depths of what people go through in bodybuilding, right? So let's talk about some challenges that you have that people have not seen, just those that follow your journey and stuff like that. For instance, we know that you struggled a little bit at a certain point in time with just your mindset. And I know for me, that resonated with me. And I told my own story as well of when I was younger, I had a coach who more or less kind of shut me down when I ran track and I wanted to go to the University of Texas. And he was like, more or less, you're not really UT caliber. And that just deflated my sense of self. And I didn't have the mental toughness to be what I needed to be like, you know what, despite what you say, I'm going to do it anyway. How was that for you? When did that happen? And when did that shift for you?
So there are very few like key moments in childhood that like I remember clear as day, just 38 years, that's a long time to live. You don't remember everything. But there was one rehearsal that I was in. Won't name the company that I was rehearsing with, but it was a partnering class. So men lift women in ballet partnering, right? Now in today's world, contemporary dance, women are lifting women are lifting men. Like it's all, all bets are off. But in classical ballet, the men lift the women. And we were doing a very particular, basically the woman does it's called a soda shot. So basically like a big leap across the stage, right? Where one man is on this arm and the other man is on this arm and they carry you across the entire stage, right? Well, I guess I didn't jump high enough. And I call him a ballet coach, but the coach for that class stopped the music, slamming his hand on the piano. And he's like, stop. Miss Lynch, mind you, it's in front of an entire class of men, women, all my peers, right? You are not a size 2, honey. You need to jump. It's okay. We're going to go back and we're going to jump. I sure shit jumped. I put every bit of strength I had into getting my little ass up off the ground to make it seem like I was light as a feather. But for some reason, like that, it sounds so silly, I'm sure, but like that one moment in front of my peers of being called out for not being a size 2, I was like, damn, like, okay, so I'm not a ballerina. Like, I don't look like a dancer. I don't jump like a dancer. I'm not going to be good enough for this, right? And so I think that I kept pushing through dance, right? Like I continued on with my journey, but subconsciously looking back, I think that may have been a trigger for me of when things start to get tough, just like fall back a little bit. Like maybe you should go do something else, find something that you're better suited for, I should say. Cause I was good. Naturally, I was good at a lot of things that I tried to do growing up. But when things got challenging, my habit was just to like roll out, right? So things got more challenging in dance when I went to a conservatory program. So what did I do? Rolled out. Things got challenging when I took on a district with my retail management position where I had to basically fire. I had 11 stores that I oversaw. I had to fire almost every store manager because they were all stealing. I didn't sign up for that. Like I just wanted to come in and sprinkle my magic and sell some, shoes and accessories and have fun and train people on how to be great. But it was harder than I thought it was going to be. So what I do? I rolled out, so there was this constant that my pattern was just to run when things got tough. Right. And now, and I guess at 35, the shift happened where it was like, no, things are always going to get tough. Like nothing is ever going to be easy. Nothing worth fighting for is going to be simple. Nothing is going to be, just, here it is, I think I forgot what the question was because I just started going down this rabbit hole of like things getting tough.
No, you're answering it. It was that. It was how did you go from having that, in your mind to transitioning, or if you're still working through it, how are you dealing with it?
Definitely still working through it. Yeah. So that's where I was going to go with that last bit on it is, even now in this, in real estate, things get tough. But guess what? You can't run. Like this is my livelihood. Like this is my career. In bodybuilding, I run there's this little monkey, this little drunk monkey in my head that tells me you're not a bikini girl. Your body is not a bikini body. I'm not. I shot her down at CTTS this year. I was like, me and the SpongeBob waistline over here. Like I have in my mind, I don't fit the criteria, right? I wasn't the ballet body as a kid. I'm not the bikini girl, as a 38-year-old woman. But so what? Like, work through it and have fun. So yeah, we still struggle. There are days that I don't think that I'm, that I should be in the position that I'm in many ways, right? In my real estate career and on the, the bodybuilding stage. But then I check myself and I'm like, no, girl, like you're here for a reason. Like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Just
nice. Do you remind yourself that you, one, got your pro card, and two, just had a 4th place finish in one of your first pro shows?
Yeah, that was kind of cool too. Like real talk, that was cool. Like, but I think the craziest part about that, we see again on social media, we see, these Olympian bikini competitors, wellness women, and we see them on the exterior, but then being there with such names in the industry, I was just like, oh, okay, cool. Whatever. No, she pumps up the same way I do. You know what I mean? Like, let's see what she looks like. Like nothing matters until you're on stage next to these people. Like legit, And even at that point, you've done everything you can.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, it was cool. That was it was a beautifully ran show. All the competitors were so kind. Everybody was so amazing. You hear stories like I had some rinky-dink coach here in the area tell me, yeah, it's so cutthroat in the pro world. They be out there trying to psych you out, this, that, and third. I was like, bro, maybe in your division with the men, it's like that. But like, no, not my experience so far. And maybe it's happening and I just don't know. Like, it's very possible.
It's been pretty interesting. I feel like it's maybe a little bit somewhere, but since being in this world, I'm like, man, it's beautiful here. You know what I mean? It's like exactly what you're saying. Maybe in his division, but right here, it's like, oh, so much love. So I agree with you on that part.
Well, and I guess a part of that is also like, misery loves company, right? You attract what you are, what you bring. So maybe he or other people have the mindset that it is such a negative, competitive world. And then there are people who see it as a joyful and a light and like an empowering place. And so we're looking in a mirror at that point, right? Like what side of it do you see?
That's remind me of my competition a little bit, but we're not going to talk about that because it's about you.
But so how did you feel from a mindset standpoint with your pro debut?
I felt as good as I could have felt that day. I knew, Coach and I knew that we weren't at our best. When are we ever at our best? But I was the best that I could be that day. And I was Gucci with that, like completely, I was excited. I didn't feel nervous until I took my first step on the stage in front of the judges. That was when nerves kicked in. Before that, I was fine. I don't know if it was the lack of engagement with them. Like I was thinking, okay, I'm smiling, so they're going to smile, right? The smile is contagious. No, like no emotion. I was like, oh, they hate me. We're going to smile anyway. And I did, like I kept my performance. So I thought, but then when I came off and talked to Sean and Jared, they're both like, I mean, yeah, like you smile, but like, it wasn't you. I was like, I know, right? But then everybody's like, oh my God, you can tell your sparkle looks so good. And Sean and I are looking at each other like, but it wasn't my sparkle. But I knew my body wasn't where it really needed to be condition-wise yet. I wanted, and I was ready for a show like 3 weeks after the debut to feel that I had really had the opportunity to put my best on stage at that moment. But unfortunately, the show that was 3 weeks later, Sean Mama Cutie said, no, you're not doing that. It was a master show and she refused to let me go the world of masters. She was like, no, you don't look like a master yet. She was like, ride this open wave. And I was like, okay. So I go online looking for shows and I'm like, damn it, it's like 6 or 7 weeks away. How do we coast for another 2 months? Oh, this is going to be treacherous. And it was absolutely treacherous, but it was the only option I had, and I wasn't going to, throw away basically the year of prep, to only do one debut show and it not even be my best. Like, no, we going to ride this wave then. We going to rock out for another 6, 7 weeks. And then that was Atlantic Coast and it was fabulous. So, and then we took off.
That's excellent. I love that. Speaking of, let's dive into the masters thing. How did you feel when you had that conversation and she's like, you're not masters or you don't look masters or what have you? And how do you feel now, competing or preparing to compete in just open, or are you looking at going to masters yet?
Nope. I'm going to stay open as long as I can stay open. I have a lot of respect for the women who are truly masters competitors, whether it is because they have been in this industry for X amount of years and continue to compete at the age that they are now, or they just started themselves and they are rightfully, in the division of, 35 and over is technically masters, but I agree with Mama Cutie. It should be 40 and up. But I was okay with that. And I appreciated her I appreciated her seeing that in me, right? And believing that I could do something in a much younger bracket, right? Age bracket. I mean, some of these girls are 22, 23, 24. Like,
Right.
I'm 38 years old. Like,
right?
I mean, it's young. 38 is young, but when you're comparing to, bombshells who are in their early 20s, ain't no spring chicken, but I'm okay with it, I don't know any different.
True. That's true, actually. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't want to shift it, but we definitely got to make sure that we shout out Jared on here.
Mm-hmm. The cheesecake theft out here, or thief out here. Is that, did I hear that correctly?
I give it to him. He was saving me, because now I'm like, all right, I look like a cheesecake. I needed to stop it. I just needed to let him have the crust.
Stop it. You better stop. Yeah, I feel you though. Don't touch my crust. Don't touch my cheesecake. Don't touch any part of my. You're kind that you even wanted to share your cheesecake. Cheesecake is one of my favorite desserts of all time.
Yes.
So like, we ain't sharing cheesecake.
Period.
You know what? They were eyeing that cheesecake all night. I had to share. I felt bad. I didn't intend on sharing, but it's okay. It's okay. All right.
Being a crust thief, he has absolutely been an angel and a godsend in this process for me, just mentally. He's the brother that I never wanted, but am loving having, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You guys seem to have such a great rapport overall. And I guess, and you just saying like the brother that I never had, that just says it all. I feel like, we don't even need to say anymore. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But that coach athlete connection, brotherly, sisterly love connection, like it just seems like it just like transcends throughout your process and your journey, and how much I feel like it's one as a whole. It's not you taking on this journey by yourself with a coach to guide you, but the relationship is kind of like something a lot of athletes would want. Me looking from the outside, I'm like, man, I want to have that rapport with any coach that I work with. You know what I mean? So just in sharing that, I'm like, how did it come to be?
Everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. You know what I mean? Like, I remember the first time I met him, it was my sister's NPC bikini competition in the Woodbridge area. And I hadn't even acquired him to start getting healthy. So I was pushing 200 pounds when I met him. And I got pictures of everything, and it was just a mess looking back. But he was very quiet, very, he didn't say much about anything. I was just like, oh, hey, great job. Congrats. She looks good. Like talking about my sister, like, way to go. But yeah, he is the respect that he has for his athletes. And he does a lot of lifestyle training too. Like, competing, this is not his book of business, right? He has competed himself once. He wanted to make sure that he could have some level of like ability to relate to what his competitors are going through. So that way when we come to him crying the blues about, low carbs or high cardio, or I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm angry, he can actually say, I get it, and not just a voice saying, oh yeah, no, I can totally understand. No, you can't understand. No.
I love that.
But yeah, he's really been great. And I had an opportunity. What year are we in? 2023. So in 2022, I had the opportunity to work with like a big name coach And in the moment, I was like, I think, oh my God, I should do this. What an opportunity. Oh my God, I need to, like, let me jump on this wagon. And he was the first call that I made. I FaceTimed him. I said, what do you think about this? Is there a way that we can make this work together? Right. Mm-hmm. Naturally, you can see him like, did she really just come at me with this? But he kept, he stayed professional, and, he was like, he threw out his ideas of pros and cons to it. And I asked him, sorry, I said, well, let me sleep on this, let me just digest this. And then the next day, all I had to do was sleep on it. And I knew what the right thing was to do. And it was to stay with coach. He is a believer that he and I are both on the same page of you rock until the wheels fall off, right? Get everything you can from any opportunity that is put in front of you until you can't learn anymore, or until you feel like you have reached your max of ability with that, either with that person or in that situation, whatever. Again, another life lesson, right?
I think that's a major gem.
Major key. Where's DJ Khaled? Yes.
Drive it until the wheels fall off.
Yeah. However, with that being said, though, because there are a lot of people, myself included, that do go through that process of, do I change or do I stay loyal, or things of that nature. If you don't mind sharing, it's completely up to you on this. What was leading you towards that? Like, maybe what were, your thoughts on, oh yeah, let's do it, versus staying? And what advice would you give to people, that are struggling with, maybe they do need to transition, but they do have that, that loyalty thing in the back of their mind?
Well, speaking from my experience on it, in the moment, it was kind of like a starstruck kind of thing, right? Like, oh my God, this person wants to work with me. I'd be a fool not to, right? Knowing nothing about their coaching style. They knew nothing about my style as an athlete. Like, it literally, if I would have jumped ship, it would have been, I don't know if I would have been disappointed or not, because I didn't make the change. So I don't know what it would have been. But my gut tells me that had I switched, in hindsight, I would have ended up back with my current coach, if he would have me back, if that makes sense. Because of the style of coaching that I respond best to, because of the the attention. Like, I need one-on-one. Like, I know nothing about any of this. I was texting with Yolanda a little bit earlier, and I was like, girl, I'm the worst bodybuilder ever. I don't know names of machines. I don't know names of exercises. Don't ask me about a creatine or a pre-work. Like, I know nothing. Okay. So it was very important. It's very valuable for somebody so new and so green and basically so naive, for lack of better words, to have someone who was willing to take time to educate, and to answer every question that I had. And if he couldn't answer it, point me in the direction of somebody that could. So yeah, I needed a lot of hand-holding, a lot of nurturing, and I'm not at a place that I can leave that yet, that I want to leave that yet. I should say. I can do whatever I want to do, but I'm not in a place that I want to do that yet.
I'm getting all the feels from that.
So, for somebody who's struggling with, what do I do? Where do I go? Should I stay? Should I go? I'm intuitive. Like, my gut tells me what's right and what's wrong. So I have a hard time giving any sort of advice for something so personal. I think writing things down helps. Pros and cons lists help. And just trusting, doing your research, having as much information you can without suffering from like paralysis of analysis, or what is it? The paralysis of analysis, right? Where you overthink, then you just don't do anything. You have to take action, yes, but just be able to sleep at night with the decision that you make. right?
And one of the things you mentioned was really understanding what is it that you personally need throughout your journey in your process, having the knowing that not exactly someone to hold your hand, but someone that's really going to give you guidance and answer your questions. That was something that, you said and claimed you needed. And I'm going to say I need that myself. I try to ask all the types of questions. So like just understanding those things about you and what your coach or interview your coach on what their process is would help in making those decisions as well. So
I mean, the same thing when I got licensed in real estate. I was fortunate enough to join a brokerage where mentorship was the base of learning how to sell real estate. Like you had a mentor from day one. And you could call them and ask them anything. They would, piggyback listing appointments with you, go on buyer consultations. Like they were your, like, that was mama or papa, or like, whoever you took on. So, I know that that's my style.
Do you mentor anyone, by the way? Just saying.
I don't.
I'm sure you'd be a great mentor, especially starting off so young with everything as well. Like, you have a very knowledgeable background in that area, especially saying that your dad, also exact name because I don't want to say anything wrong.
His as an appraiser.
Okay, yes, appraiser. Yes, thank you. I was going to say broker, but
yeah. Well, both my parents are educators. So outside of them being teachers, he also did real estate appraising. That was just like his fun, I'll just do it on the side and, make extra money. But he did that full time, basically. You're crazy. But, yeah. So it's, mentorship is important to me. As much as I appreciate you all saying that I could potentially be a wonderful mentor to those coming up in this sport, I know how I work. Like, oh my gosh, you should teach posing classes. I'm like, no, just because I know how to walk on a stage and do everything that Sean tells me, well, not everything, but I try to do everything that Sean tells me. Whether I succeed or not is a different story. That does not make me fit to coach someone else on how to pose. Like, know your lane, right?
Yeah, agreed.
Absolutely. Okay. Mentorships come in different forms, though,
True.
You're not wrong.
Even your words to us, on the side when they're most needed, trust and believe. They go a long way.
That's a fact. She's not wrong on that.
She's not wrong. Where's the lie?
That's amazing.
All right, where are we, ladies? How you feeling?
So sorry. I apologize.
I have one.
Any structure? If you all came with any structure, I'm just like.
No, the way it flows, that's the structure.
Yeah. We want to give the real raw, so yeah.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts when your sister, you said your middle sister, she's a competitor, right? What were your thoughts when she said she wanted to compete? And did you talk to her a little bit when you decided it was something that you wanted to do?
So she competed first. So she's been in this world before I even knew anything about it. And we definitely had some struggles when I started, because, I acquired her coach, who she was working with. I'd go down and, I do a lot of things that I don't realize what I'm doing, how it could be perceived to someone else. And so when we'd be training together sometimes, because on Tuesdays, my day off from real estate, I go down to Richmond to train in person with my coach. My sister lives down in Richmond, so sometimes she'll come in. When she was prepping for shows, she would definitely come in. So we'd get more like one-on-one, sisterly love, push each other, all that stuff. But she would hit her poses in the mirror, right? And I'd be like, oh, wow, look at that. And I literally, where my mindset was, I'm like, I'm going to try and do that. Like, how is she doing that? wow, she looks amazing. Wow, look at her shoulders. Like, and so I would try and copy what I was seeing, you know, thinking that I was looking up to my big sister. But the perception that she had from that was, is this little heifer over here trying to size me up? Right? So like, no joke though, like no bull, like it was not Gucci. It was not Gucci. So when she brought that to my attention, I then intentionally had to not pose if I saw her posing. I, you know, would not do certain things. You know, if I wanted to go up in weight, I didn't say that I was going up in weight. I just picked up the bigger weights, right? Like I never wanted to seem like I was trying to outshine or outdo her. But she has a different narrative, right?
Yes.
And our history, right? She's the middle sister. There's, you know, there's narrative that comes around that. So there were definitely some struggles with that. And even up until, gosh, Weeder, so my pro debut, she decided 2 weeks before the show that she was going to do the show. What competitor do you know has that much God-given talent that they can just get on stage 2 weeks after they decide they're going to get on stage and actually do well? The bitch almost won her pro card. Like she won her class and was up for the overall. You just showed up. You just decided 2 weeks ago that you were going to compete. Imagine if you actually like did a prep. Imagine if you did the work. Like naturally, this is what you do. Are you kidding me? Like, I was like, I still get so angry when I talk to her about this because I'm like, you just applaud yourself. Just a little, just weigh your food. Just do that, you know? Put the wine down. Just do that. But yeah, so I say all that to say, so that was an interesting thing. But at Weeder, she was in. If I could, I guess this is the one regret, you know, I don't regret much in life, but I do wish that I could have found a better way to support her when she competed at Weeder, regardless of the lack of preparation that she put into it, regardless of anything that I had going into a pro debut. I wish that I could have shown my support for her in a different way. She wanted me in the audience. I was upstairs in my hotel room watching them on the live stream, letting my curls set because my hairdresser was there waiting on me, blah, 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 whatever. But she wanted her sister in the audience screaming for her, not sitting, watching the screen, screaming, right?
Let me just say, you guys have to experience a Jenn in the crowd in person.
I'm ready for that. I am ready. If
That's
she's anything
awesome.
like how she is in the DMs when you're competing, I'm here for that.
Pretty much. I just get I get goosies. I cry. I just I feel all the feels because I'm like, oh my God, I worked so hard. Like it's a whole moment, you know.
So it was easy for her to know that you weren't present in that audience.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I could run down a list of all the reasons why I felt it was best for me to be where I was. But at the end of the day, that does not change the way that she felt and my lack of presence. How that made her feel. Yeah, so that sucked. That definitely sucked. And it took me weeks because I knew she was salty. I knew it because she just, you know, she had a little side comment, a little dig of, did I really go on stage this many times for my class and for the overall? And my sister was not in the audience. And I had to I couldn't react because my initial reaction a lot of the times when I feel like I've let someone down is like, I get angry. I get ugly. And it's a defense mechanism and it's not okay. It's not the best way to deal with things. So the balance that I found to that right now in life is just don't say anything, right? Don't react, just digest it, understand that what they're feeling is okay. What could you have done differently? What can you do to make this right? right? So like I start going through all these things in my mind after she says that comment. And so a few weeks later, I said to her, I said, you know, will you let me know? Sadly, I couldn't bring myself to say I'm sorry, which is a whole nother can of worms that I need to figure out. But I said to her, I said, will you let me know when you're doing a show again? And I can make sure it's a show that I am not a part of in any way other than to be there in the audience for you. Mm-hmm. And she was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm, I don't know. We'll see. Like, and in my mind, I'm like, of course, we're going to see 2 weeks before, and then I'm going to have something going on, and I can't be there. Like, so then that whole thing blew up. But that was my way of apologizing for not being there for her. But I'm saying it out loud. I need to say to her flat out, I'm sorry that I wasn't there for you the way that you needed. But it's a, you know, sisterly, little sisterly competition.
Fair. Well, hopefully she sees this and she hears that. Seems really genuine too. So hopefully she receives that, and then, you know, whenever you feel moved to actually do it in person too, I hope that she receives that as well. That's super special.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't, you know, take care of your family relationships, can't nurture those. What can you do? You know, whether it's chosen family or the ones that you were, you know, given by blood, you know.
Don't worry, we know you're gonna be turning up in the audience for her soon.
Right? And she gonna know too.
I need her to I just want to see it. I just want to see it once. I want to see her give it her all and just slay. Like just time. And then she can throw up her heels and call it a day. But I want to see it one time for her. She is it's insane. Like, so we both grew up dancing, and yes, I danced for a hot second professionally. I did a little Beyonce video back in the day. But my sister, Hunty, no. Sister's resume, disgusting. She has danced for every artist out of Atlanta, co-choreographed for like videos for Sierra with her head choreographer Jamaica. Like, she's nasty. It is so
y'all connected. Okay.
And she teaches, right?
She does, yeah.
Yes. So it did not and won't stop.
No. I mean, she teaches. She could still book gigs if she wanted to, like literally. And if she were to just say, "This is what I'm going to do," she could do it. You know, whatever it is. But you know, we're all our own worst enemies, all of us.
Yeah. Actual. All right, sis. Well, you heard it here. We want to see you on stage.
Full prep.
Full prep.
100%, because we know what's coming next after that. I mean, that dancer body, it's already ready to go. I know.
And y'all already got somebody stage presence.
Yeah. Well, and you know, that's I hate to keep harping on this, but that's that thing too of like growing up with like, you know, struggling with body image issues or body dysmorphia or whatever. You know, I was the thicker one. She was always just like snatched. Right. So, and that was my sister. So like, I always felt like I was in that shadow. Like there's just so much nonsense that we need to learn to unpack as adults.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So you said Beyonce. So sorry, y'all, I got to circle back because y'all know how I feel about Queen. So you did a video with her, or you were in her video and she wasn't there? Like, how does that work?
No, she was very much there. Her mom, her sister, the whole crew. So it was Get Me Bodied way back in the
that is my jam. Oh my God.
I giggle every time I hear the song now. I'm like, I know the
now
dance.
We got to see you do the actual, like, all the dances.
So what's funny, when I was going into my pro debut, I posted, because I was trying to figure out, okay, what do I want to channel for stage? So like I did like this corny little post of, do we give the uh-oh? And it was like a clip of me doing like the uh-oh part in that video. And like there was an arrow pointing. And then it was like, or do I give like ballerina? And I was like doing little ballet stuff in the background. And so many people were like, oh yeah, I would go with the uh-oh. And then somebody randomly was like, but wait, who was that random girl that you were pointing the arrow at? I was like, the random girl was me. Like, why would I post a video and point an arrow at some random chick out of 6? Like, no, that was me. They're like, oh, it happened.
Wow. Did she make you sign a what is it? The thing where you can't speak about it? India.
Oh, it was all very public. It was shot out in LA. It was a locally like booked gig. So we had to, coming from Virginia, long story short, my sister was with her agency in Atlanta at the time. She hit me up. She was like, yo, B's having auditions. You come down. I was like, I like my full-time job with benefits. Like, I don't know about that dance life anymore. Like I retired that. She was like, bitch, if you don't get down here, because this is like a whole era in like Atlanta where like light skin, curly hair, like that was like the thing. And then we're sisters on top of that. So like we were very marketable, right?
Right.
I was like, all right, whatever, I'll come down. Came down, danced for her agency. Immediately they signed both of us. She hated me. She was like, I've been down here for 6 months. You showed up for 30 minutes and they booked us. And I was like, but you did the legwork, sis. Like you did this. So we ended up getting a call from B's choreographer, Frank Gadsden, and he's like, it's a local gig, so y'all got to get yourselves out here. We'll pay you for your time here, but we ain't covering your flight, your hotel, none of that. So we made it work. We went out there, rehearsed for a couple of days, shot the video, rolled out back to life.
Wow. That's we never know what people are going through.
Right? Like what an adventure. Like look at what's behind all of it. Look, Jenn though.
Right.
And then my sister, then she hated me, of course, after that, because again, we're so marketable, right? And I stopped dancing entirely. I wasn't dancing already going into that. I was just like teaching and dabbling and doing whatever. And then I booked that and then I stopped again. And she was like, no, you don't understand. Like we can be great together. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's the way for you. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I really enjoy knowing like what my schedule of work's going to be, my paid time off, like bonuses, like I'm good. Health insurance, like I'm good. So yeah, that was another salty moment in our lives.
Oh, that's amazing though. Like, listen, I have Beyonce on my vision boards. I have dreams about meeting her, and here we are talking to you, and you've been in her whole video. Like, how awesome is it? Like, that's 6 degrees of separation. It's like, it's real. So final question on that. Right, because I'm like tempted to like turn the video on and put that on there.
I was a baby. Like, we were going back. I don't know, maybe I was like 23-ish, somewhere in that time frame. It's all a blur, but like we're talking eons ago, y'all.
Yeah.
Eons.
That's so awesome. Well, so how was she?
Super quiet.
Yeah.
She only she had 2 dancers that she had worked with pretty religiously when we were rehearsing for that particular video. So she spoke with them, but it wasn't like Kiki. It was just about the choreography. Like she came to work, you know what I mean? It was about her business. It was not anything but that.
And that's okay. Handle the business.
Get it done. But she still very much gives that now, except now everything is a secret until it's not. So that's wow. I'm just I have nothing else.
I'm like, hold on, B.
Right. My mind is glitching. I don't even know where we are in the process. Like
let's bring it back to Jenn.
It's a good time. It was different though, because again, I came from the ballet world, which was put on your point shoes, go get your tutu, snatch your hair up. Like it was a very structured dance life that I knew. And then trying out this commercial world where it was, I'm gonna say it, but like politics and who knows who and who have you danced for and where have you been and where, what city do you live in? And like, I was like, I don't like this. Get me out. Like, it was just so uncomfortable for me. So yeah, did my one job and rolled out.
That's awesome. That is so cool. Wow. Hey,
that's a fun story to be able to share, though, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And by the way,
I went through a phase that I couldn't watch like videos when like dance really was becoming huge in like the music industry and like the commercial world. There was a period in my life that I could not watch stuff because there was slight feeling of what would have happened if I would have, right? And I know like the way that made me feel, so I just, what do? Turn away from it. Go the other way.
Well, it sounds like you still followed your gut and your intuition. Like you said, that always leads you. And you kind of knew what you wanted out of life anyway. So I'm sure if that was something that you wanted to re-manifest, I bet you could.
You still got it.
Yeah, the way these hips are set up these days, I don't even know. I started feeling things in this body that I'm like...
Just use your yoga wheel. Your Theragun. You probably have it all. Just use all of it. Go on.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. That is so funny. All right. What else y'all got before we go to our
I want to talk about ice cream.
Ooh.
Can you tell us about ice cream, Jen?
Had me at ice cream. So people don't understand. When I am in prep, I eat a pint of ice cream every single night. And it's all because of a glorious machine called the Creamy Ma, made by Ninja. It's a Ninja kitchen gadget. Yes, honey. Those who follow Jenn Dory.
Hold on so I can take my notes.
I just told my wife I wanted one of those.
Life changing. I don't think I will ever eat, that's a lie. I'll eat regular ice cream one day, but I can't even bring myself to want to buy regular ice cream in the store or out at a restaurant or anything. I'll do a sorbet if I'm out at a restaurant, but ice cream, no. Just knowing how many like fats and carbs and nonsense are in it compared to what I can make at home and enjoy a whole pint every night. Get out. Like what? So basically the base of it, it's a protein ice cream. So I put whatever flavor, I'm a core nutritional girl all day long, every supplement, every protein powder, everything is core nutritional. I'm like, I guess loyal to a fault. So I do whatever flavor of protein powder. And then depending on where the macros are, whatever fruits I want to add. So usually I'll use a small amount of banana just to add like some creaminess to it. And that goes with any flavor. Because it's like 30 grams of banana that I'm doing like mashed in there. So you don't even taste banana. Or I'll add blueberries or strawberries or, whatever. And then outside of prep, I put about a fourth, it's 34 grams of non-fat Greek yogurt. I don't do this every day. 34 grams of non-fat Greek yogurt in with it. And then I'll fill the rest of the container to the fill line with water. Whisk it really, really good or really well. And then you freeze it. So you can either freeze it the night before or days in advance or even the morning of. Sometimes I forget like what flavor I want to eat the next day. And so I'll do one in the morning, like real quick. And then that way at night it's ready to go. But you just put it in the freezer, take it out, put it in the machine, push your light ice cream or sorbet or regular ice cream blend, whatever the option should be that you do. And it works its little witchcraft and it whisks it up and winds it and grinds it and makes it magical.
Witchcraft, though?
Oh my God, I'm getting so excited right now thinking about tonight's ice cream.
Right. Because not me looking up creamy on Amazon as we speak, texting my wife like, I'm going to get a creamy machine.
I need to buy stock in this company, I swear. And then there's a
sponsor her, y'all.
Yes, sponsorships, please. Discount code, thanks. There is a feature on there to add a mix-in. So think like Blizzard or McFlurry. So what I've been adding in this week, I get the little like 100 or 120 calorie like brownie brittle snack bags from Costco. You just get a box of them and I crush those up and then I sprinkle those in and then you push the mix-in feature and then it blends it. So I literally have a Blizzard at home every night. It's amazing. Wow. And like legit macros, the macros are stupid. Like, and again, you have full control over what you're going to do with it. So tonight's ice cream.
She's already got it plugged in, y'all.
Okay.
Hey.
All in 33 carbs, 7.5 fats, and 41 grams of protein.
What?
That is awesome.
311 calories.
Oh, I need that.
That is awesome.
So you're telling me
so
it's
again,
basically worth the return on investment?
100%. Like, I almost bought a second one because I'm convinced I'm going to kill the one that I have. Because a day does not go by that I don't use it. Seriously. And
by the time you see us next, we all gonna have a creamy.
Yeah.
I need to get mine now before.
Hold on. Anybody listening to this on the pod, if you see this on YouTube, you have to see the actions that you just gave us in making this ice cream. Like, I swear, did you shimmy? The shimmy and the sprinkle. I'm like, oh, okay. I need all of that.
Sorry
I'm gonna rewatch this for myself, and I'm gonna make sure I do exactly that when I'm making my ice cream.
It's absurd. I am so sorry that the most excitement you got from me today was talking about ice cream.
And Beyonce.
No, I think that was Brandy's excitement. Talking about
true.
Stop it, because we got all the gems too. Okay,
we did.
I did love that.
Yes.
I'm not going to get over that.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's such a controllable thing, right? In life, you control the controllables, right? So if you got your macros, there's another little gem for you, another nugget. But if your diet is macro based in prep or out of prep, it's so easy to manipulate that, so easy. You don't have to fill the whole container. Maybe you want to have half a pint of ice cream. Maybe you only do half a scoop of protein. Maybe you can't add yogurt. You could probably even do it comes with the recipe book. Don't get me started. I'm not going to get on this rabbit hole anymore, but it comes with a recipe book. So you can follow the recipes that it has, or you can just totally, from day one, I just made up my own. I never had interest in doing what they wanted me to do. Cause it's like, I don't cook. Like, it's intricate. Like, some of the preparation, it's like melt this and do that and whisk. And I'm like, I got 2 hours of meal prep today, and this ice cream is not about to take an hour and a half of that. Okay.
Right. Listen, I just texted Danielle. I was like, I'm getting the creamy. She's like, why? We don't eat ice cream that much. I was like, because we can make it healthy and then we can eat it that much. She's like, I don't want healthy ice cream. I want the stuff that tears my stomach up.
You can make that, though. It comes with the recipe book to tell you how.
Okay, boom.
And
stiffening up my argument.
Smoothie bowls. You can do sorbet, smoothie bowls, milkshakes, ice cream, obviously. And then there's another feature on there, but all I ever use is the ice cream feature. So
yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you, Stephanie, for bringing all that joy out of me.
You're right. What else y'all got for her?
I'm trying to get the realest of the realest, real. Want to jump into those?
Yeah, we can jump into those.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Wait.
Oh, okay.
Our main question, though, prior to that, when did we learn we wanted to become a competitor versus just compete?
Competitive.
So yeah. I'm gonna let you rephrase that, Brandy, real quick, because I was trying to reset my computer just now. But rephrase it, because I love the way you say it.
Fair enough. So, we've talked about, the question of, do you want to compete or do you want to be competitive? At what point in your journey did you ever have that thought process? Or even if you didn't, and maybe you did recently, one, this is a two-parter. So one, what does that mean to you? And two, what did you decide?
So from Jump Street, I was all in. I work very hard to collect the coins that I'm able to collect from my business in real estate. And if I'm going to spend those coins on a competitive activity, I'm going to be competitive. This is not cheap. I have nobody funding any of my life for me or with me. So I think in life, we operate in a place of like wanting pleasure or pain, right? or like going towards pleasure of playing. It pains me to throw money at something and not see a return. I don't gamble. I don't go to casinos and throw money at the slots or any of that stuff, because I don't know what I can't guarantee that I'm going to get anything out of it. But I know if I am investing in myself, if I'm making this promise to myself to deliver on something, I know what I'll get in return, right? Controlling the controllables. So, I don't think that there is, and everybody values things differently, right? Like money, it's, it doesn't matter. It's just, it's what it is. But I don't believe in just flushing it down the toilet. And for me, I would be flushing money down the toilet if I was paying the thousands of dollars that we pay for supplements, suits, posing, hair, makeup, heels, workout outfits. At the end of the day, we know that's an expense. Like
travel, gym membership.
The list goes on. Thank you. The list goes on. Like, and that comes from, I guess, also it goes back to mom and dad and how they raised us. Like, if you're going to do something, you do it 100%, right? If you want me to spend these thousands of dollars for you to be a competitive dancer and go to school for ballet and do this and do that, you have to do your part, So, there's some people that only, it's a weight loss journey and they just want to get on stage once, and that's fine. Or it's something that they find other elements of their life structure just to do one show a year. That's fine. Like I have some of my fellow realtors who are also bodybuilders. They want to stay NPC forever. They have no interest in pushing for a pro card, but it's because the structure that they have to follow, or they have the opportunity to follow in bodybuilding, helps their life in other ways. That's enough for them. That's cool. It's also a lot of them are men and they're not paying as much money for things as we do, but so yeah, I knew that I wanted to. The second I did that first show and the amount of fun that I had, I was like, oh, this shit's addicting. Like, I love it. Did I want to cry for the last 2 weeks? Absolutely. And did I? Absolutely. Last 2 weeks going into show. But there is I don't even have words to explain how much fun I have on stage. Like, that is priceless. But unfortunately, it does come with a price. And so I want to see a return on my investment on me. And that does bring me to something that I wanted to make sure that I expressed to you guys before. And I don't know how I scrolled off from this, but, we talked about, growing up and, the struggles that we go through and having to like unpack things as adults and all that stuff. One of the things that I was able to identify within myself, probably in the last year, last 8 months, definitely the last year, is where I gain my confidence, like where I build my own confidence. So I think it's important that we believe in ourselves. What does Ruth say? If you can't love yourself, honey, how the hell you gonna expect anybody else to love you? Can I get an amen?
Amen.
So for me, being able to keep any promise that I make to myself, that's where my confidence comes from. Yes, I want to make the people around me happy. I want to please my family, my friends, my colleagues, my clients, the coaches that I put all my trust in. I want to make them happy. But at the end of the day, if I did something that wasn't true to me, or if I broke a promise to myself, the way that makes me feel is far worse than disappointing anyone else. So I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah.
But I 100% understand that promise. So I don't make them, but literally if I do make one, it's like I'm holding dear to it completely. So I understand that promise to self, especially in that manner. So I hear it and I understood where you were going with it. And I 100% agree with that too. And I love how it's like you also mentioned with having everything as a return for yourself. personally, because yes, it is expensive, but that return in yourself and what you gain, the mental, the emotional, the confidence, all of that is just extraordinary. Oh, go ahead, Brandon.
No, absolutely. That was a great follow-up. So going into, our final questions that we plan to talk to everybody about, we really want to know, you shared a lot with us today, a lot of your struggles, a lot of your wins, which we really appreciate. And with this question, you may have already answered it. I'll say that right now. But if not, we want to know, what is the realest or rawest moment that you have experienced in your bodybuilding career? Good, bad, or indifferent?
Realest or rawest? Oh gosh, I don't know. I think one of the most memorable moments was having the opportunity of my sister being the person who handed me my pro card.
Aw,
Well, that's
special. I know.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, I got goosey.
I know. My eyes are welling up right now.
That was pretty dope. That was pretty dope. And I think that is, now that I'm saying that out loud, I think that's another reason why it pains me so much to know that I hurt her by not being in the audience. She went on stage. Yeah.
Ooh. I ain't gonna get teary-eyed, y'all.
I know, right? It's like, hold on, I gotta pause for a second.
That was special. That's really special.
That is special. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I wanted so badly for Weeder when she was going to compete. I wanted so badly for the NPC portion and pro portion to be on separate days so that I could have had the opportunity to give her whatever her reward was going to be. Because here in the DMV, we're so blessed. I mean, you guys know too, you're involved in your areas with the competitions and everything. But we're so blessed to be able to reach out to the different promoters, and whether it's helping backstage or at booths or anything like that. So I always try to be at any of the NPC shows, even if I'm just in the audience. I like to be able to be backstage and help with awards and all that. So that was, I knew going into that show, if they were going to be on separate days, I would be there to present her award. But then when it was on the same day, I was like, well, there goes that plan. That's why you can't plan everything, Jennifer.
That's funny, but planning works for you, so it works out. Hopefully, you still get a moment with her. So we're cheering for that, rooting for that.
Something bigger is coming. That's all.
Absolutely. Okay, and another question. Again, you shared a lot with us, so you may have already answered this one too. But what is the realest or rawest piece of advice that you would give any competitor? It doesn't matter if they're just now entering into the sport or they've been here for a while.
Just trust yourself, know your value, know what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do. Always be okay with reassessing that. It's not always going to be the same story. And just give yourself grace, right? Like,
my favorite word.
My favorite word. Yes.
I mean, truly. I mean, there's so many ups and downs in life and in the sport that, one day you feel like a star and the next day you feel like, the other day I felt like a sausage, like you never know, but it's just like, we're human, right? So just be okay with where you are. Be okay not being okay. Be okay being okay. Like, you have to be able to accept yourself and still love yourself through all the versions of self, right?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, don't get wrapped up. I mean, I could go on for days about this. Don't get wrapped up in the nonsense we see on social media. It's a highlight reel. Just do you. Go to sleep at night knowing that you made every choice to what was authentic to you, and you can look back and say, I did the right thing. Or, maybe that wasn't the best thing I could have done. What could I have done differently? Okay, let me make sure I do that next time, right? It's just, don't hold on to the past. Don't hold on to negativity. Like, everything is just fail forward. Just keep failing forward.
Oh, I love that. Word to Will. That is awesome. We appreciate you so much for joining us and for sharing all of the things and, just spewing your love sprinkles on all of us. So before we wrap up, tell us where, if you're into anything, you're promoting anything, you're sponsored by or for anything, tell us what you're into, what people should look up, and how they can find you if they want to connect with you.
Well, sponsored all day long. Thank God for this heavenly human being, Mama Cutie herself. If you don't already know, you better know. You better ask somebody. Okay,
Yeah.
Sean Victor Lewis, Sean's Couture Cuties, cutie community right here. Without dragging this out too long, for the record, when I first got into the sport and I was like, oh, what? Jared, you want me to go work with who? Okay, whatever. Oh, she's got some program coming up where I could get like a discount on a swimsuit. Oh, what? But I have to do an athlete search in it? What? I don't want to. Remember emailing her, or probably Danny, and was like, to get the discount, do I have to apply for this? I knew nothing. Like, I just wanted a discounted swimsuit. Like, I didn't know that this community was any of what it is, right?
Right.
And I look back now and I'm like, I would love to look at my submission form for wanting to be a sponsored athlete 2 weeks into deciding to become a bodybuilder, and put that side by side to my horrendous first time doing wellness posing. Oh my God, talk about embarrassing. But yes, so proudly sponsored and trained all day long by Sean's Couture Cuties. All the fun things when it comes to stage, suits, posing, hair, and makeup, all that jazz. Well, you guys know her tagline way better than I do.
You nailed it, I think.
You did.
But other than Sean, I mean, I'm not sponsored by any brand by any means. I do live and love a good Slim Tum waist trainer. So you can use slimtum.com / right? That's forward when it goes the normal way. Yeah. / Jenn L, Jenn with 2 N's, because I'm not OCD at all. It's exactly half my name. So JENNL at the end for a little savings there. I don't get anything from it, so you guys aren't paying me to use it, but it gets you a discount to enjoy the brand and their product. They're fantastic.
Nice.
And other than that, no, you can just find me on the IG, find me on the gram, Jennifer Lynch Realtor _ IFBB Pro. Yeah, I'm on the Facebook too, but not really. I'm more of a gram girl. But
okay, fair enough. And what about if they are in the area and they're considering, a realtor?
Yeah. So even if you're not in the area, so like I said, my team, we service Virginia, Maryland, and DC. But we have partners all across the country. So I've helped actually some of our fellow cuties who are in other states, help somebody too up in Philly, actually connected them with a fantastic partner of mine. And then one out in Ohio also. So we got connections everywhere. Wherever your real estate needs might need a little love. But my real estate page is just jennifer.east&ivyhomes.com. East, like east-west, the word and Ivy, like the greenery behind me. If you can see us on the YouTube right now, homes.com. So, but when in doubt, you can just shoot me a DM on IG, Jennifer Lynch Realtor _ IFBB Pro, and then any real estate questions people have, just hit me up on there and I'll plug and play and send you over to text, because I hate DMing certain people for too long. Like all of you at some point, I'm like, why are we still DMing? Like,
that's true.
Past that. Like I had that moment with Shanika the other day too. Like we were going hard in the DMs and I was like, girl, if you don't send me a text.
That's excellent. Well, us being a military family, you probably hear from us in a couple of years. So that's awesome.
Like I said, anything where you are, it's always good I interview anybody that I connect my people with before they speak to you, because I want to make sure it's a great fit.
Nice.
So yeah, we got
We'll
you.
probably be chatting with you soon too.
We got you.
Yep. Getting all the business, all the fun stuff when it comes to real estate. I'm just kidding, Sean. Don't hurt me. Okay, but no, we truly appreciate you coming on and giving us the real raw real on Jenn Lynch and all things your life and background. So all of Jenn's information will also be in the show notes if you didn't catch it, and we will be hearing from her soon when we launch it. If you liked this pod or any other episode that we have done, make sure to subscribe and also share with any other friend, family member, or competitor who might want to listen in as well. So you can also find us on IG at The Real Raw Real, all one word, and we will see you in the next episode.
Hey. Thanks, Jenn.
Congratulations to you guys. This is amazing that you're creating this space for people. So thank you for letting me be a part of this with you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We appreciate you and your time for sure. Thank you.
Definitely.
All right, y'all. See you on the next one.
Bye.